So I got my Detroit Lions gear on, number 81, Megatron. So a little sidestep is that I've never worn anybody else's name on my back. But I want to get this football jersey out because I want to get you with that football feel. Now, I know my Lions are having a tough season, and you could probably play this video for the next 20 years, and you can use that caption, and it'll seem relevant from the way we've been doing things over the last 50 years. But I want to tell you, the Lions are my team. But more importantly, my father is my team. And he was an epic football coach back in the day, 1970s, and won all these records and win streaks, and was published in Sports Illustrated. They made a movie, they wrote a book. But I tell a lot of stories about my dad. But here's a story that's never been told, and it's a very meaningful story to me, because one day they were celebrating my father in Hudson, and what I wasn't aware of is that they had a museum of my father, Tom Saylor, in Hudson, Michigan. And I hired a movie crew to follow us to this anniversary of his epic win streak of 50 years celebration. And I was trying to put together a documentary, and it got stalled, but we spent a lot of money. We got a lot of great footage. But one of the best thing I got from all of this event was the film crew followed me to my father's museum. It's a football museum celebrating Hudson and all the win streak records that they did in Hudson, Michigan. Like 11 undefeated seasons, something like that. But there's a lot of museum stuff that my father wore 50 years ago. His coaching jacket, his cleats, his duffel bag, his shoes, a winter coat, a parka, a hat, and all these things. And to walk in and to see almost, I don't want to call it a shrine, but a museum of really what it was like back in 1970 when my father was living this epic life. And so what I really want to tell you about is the beauty of memories, the beauty of growing up, the beauty of celebrating other people. And as I was celebrating my dad and learning more about him, the camera was filming him, and they filmed the museum, I'm not sure, orator, I'm not sure what they call those people. And he walked my father over, and he opened up this one glass, and he said, "Tom, we've never opened this glass in 50 years. And behind the glass was my father's original football coaching coat that's been sitting in this shrine, or this, not shrine, this museum on display for 50 years. My father had given the coat to them, and just because he's a great guy, right? And as he opened it, he says, "Tom, you want to see if the coat fits for the camera?" And so my dad said, "Great." And so they filmed my dad taking this coat, putting it on for the first time in some 50 years to reenact this coat, this moment of greatness for my father in the community. And what I want to tell you about is the beauty of understanding people, and understanding your legacy, and understanding things about your past, and honoring other people, is as my father put the coat on, almost a 50-year-old coat, he put the coat on, and he buttoned it up, and it fit great. And he reached into his pocket, his right pocket, and as he went into his football stance like normal, his eyes opened wide. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and out of his pocket, he pulled these whistles. These whistles were his coaching whistles. These whistles are over 50 years old, and he supported over 1,000 players, 95 wins, 1 loss in 11 some seasons. Set the world record, had a movie, and he did it with all these whistles. And the hidden treasure of this surfacing that way was just monumental to me. And here's the beauty of what happened with me and my father in that story. Was on cue. My father looked at me, and I looked at him, and he tossed these whistles to me, and I quickly put them in my pocket to share with my children and their grandchildren of the greatness of my father and his successes. And the story goes on. What's your story? What can you pass on? What can you share? doesn't have to be overly epic. It just has to be purposeful.